What if I told you you could like The Last Jedi Luke, and you could like The Mandalorian Luke? Crazy, right? Now, in this video, I want to get into the topic at hand where people are sort of using the latest and greatest, and what I mean by that is that amazing scene, that absolutely majestic Star Wars scene that we got in the end of the Mandalorian, the season 2 finale, where obviously it's pretty much common knowledge now, our hero Luke Skywalker comes in to save the day at the last minute. Now, I want to preface this video by saying, as I've said before, The Mandalorian saved Star Wars, and I'm not going to backtrack on that comment, it did. Here's the thing with the sequel trilogy. The first original trilogy was for kids. The second trilogy, the prequels, were for kids. That's my lot. And the sequel trilogy is for kids. Admittedly, it's one of them kind of things where we're just probably a bit annoyed that the franchise isn't aging with us. And because of the scene we now have in The Mandalorian, that adds so many layers and depths to the already existing character of Luke Skywalker, the man, the myth, the legend, which is exactly what The Last Jedi dealt with. The Last Jedi was pretty much simply saying, look, this is your hero, we're just going to humanize him. Now, I know we all wanted to see Luke tear some stuff up, which is why even I flipped out at the scene of The Mandalorian, because I have been just dying for years to see Luke get some actual action and do some serious damage. And that's exactly what he did. His scene is the inverse of Darth Vader's scene in Rogue One. It's just the complete inverse of it. Vader's scene is about, fear, tension, chasing the rebels down the hallway as they're scurrying the battle plans. Luke's is saving, Grogu, saving Din Djarin, saving all those aboard, and majestically taking out these dark troopers like it's easy. Now, where this pleases everyone is the Mandalorian scene pleases me as a fan. I've always wanted to see Luke, tear some stuff up, because we never really got to see it in the original trilogy. We just knew that he could because it was inferred. Whereas The Last Jedi Luke we got was more of a human-based, layered version of the character. And because of this scene in The Mandalorian, I have to say, I've rewatched The Last Jedi since, and I've grown to appreciate that Luke Skywalker a lot more, now that I know there is a scene, because realistically, all I ever wanted for Luke was to see him get a scene where we could see him as Jedi Master Luke, and now we have it. And I feel like, because of The Last Jedi, we appreciate this Mandalorian scene a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, we would have all flipped out if it happened anyway, but because of the way the sequel trilogy handled Luke, I feel like we were able to really appreciate this scene a lot more. And the great thing about it is not only did we not expect it, no one knew about it. No one knew about it. We all knew about Bo-Katan, we all know about Ahsoka, we all knew about, the connections to the Jedi Order. But none of us knew that Luke was involved. As soon as that single X-Wing comes into play, the whole world stopped. Everyone was in unanimous agreement. We were glued to the screens, lumps in our throats, breathless. And we were thinking, oh my god, is it Ezra? Can't be Luke, can it? And I shout out Peyton Reed, because the way that this episode was directed was even when Luke gets out of the X-Wing and you see him with the robes walking through the hallway, pretty much like Anakin did, as he was going to fight the Separatists. Well, I say fight, it was a slaughter. He's walking through and you're thinking, is that Luke? Nah, can't be. Even when you see the green blade, you're still not quite sure. And then you see the glove and that lightsaber hilt that is a personal favourite of mine. The world just breathes a sigh of relief. A sigh of relief. Now, where I think a lot of people get the Last Jedi Luke version wrong is they say it ruined the character. Folks, nothing's ruined. Nothing has been ruined. If anything, this makes the Last Jedi Luke so much more justified. Now, I don't think I'm going to fully believe that Luke was, sensing darkness within Kylo and then igniting his blade. I'm not a big fan of that part in particular. However, the arc that Luke goes on in The Last Jedi, someone said it perfectly. Rey and Kylo Ren are front and center in the film. But the hero's journey isn't used by them. It's by Luke. The Last Jedi is Luke's hero's journey. Now, you could argue we've seen it before. But I feel like a lot of the things that fans glom onto about us not seeing Luke at all in the sequel trilogy, we did. We saw Luke at the end of The Last Jedi coming to save the day. Now, it wasn't a physical confrontation, but if you remember the Jedi teachings, a Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and wisdom, never for attack. And watching it in that perspective, I appreciate it a lot more. It's not what I would have personally done. I would have had Luke literally just tear some stuff up. But where I think Rian Johnson was trying to take the character, and it's not even all on Rian Johnson. This was also a J.J. Abrams creation. Luke was just on a random island. Rian Johnson needed a reason to justify it. He needed a reason to justify why Han and Leia's son, basically turned to the dark side. We needed a reason to justify a temple no longer existing. There was all these things that needed justifying, and that's one of the biggest problems of the sequel trilogy, but that's for another video. But I really appreciate what Rian was going for here. And at the end of The Last Jedi, when the kids are playing with the action figures, and, they're talking about Luke Skywalker, that's what we all did. That's what we all did as kids. We all played with the Luke Skywalker toys, or the lightsabers, thinking we were Luke. We were Luke. We were him. We were about to go on the journey of a lifetime. And in order to fully appreciate the scene in The Mandalorian, we needed The Last Jedi Luke. In order to like The Last Jedi Luke, we needed a scene in The Mandalorian like that. So retroactively, it's made The Last Jedi so much better for me. Now, again, am I saying that I absolutely love and adore The Last Jedi? No. I still have my problems with it. It's still not personally what I would have done, but I can say that about the whole sequel trilogy. But the scene of Luke in The Mandalorian adds layers upon layers to the character of Luke in The Last Jedi. I like the Luke in The Mandalorian better because it's the sweet Luke. It's the sugary Luke. It's the, the one that you can eat up the most. It's the fast food. It's awesome. But I feel like if you get just too much of that, just a constant power display, you're just watching mindless action and you're not really able to appreciate it. The reason we were able to appreciate this is because Luke hasn't really got many action scenes. Most of his action scenes in the original trilogy are either training or getting his ass handed to him. Or the final duel between him and Vader where he really comes through. And the scenes in the sequel trilogy are about, a broken individual, echoing the parallels between the Jedi teachings. And we've all said this for years. The Jedi were the reason that Anakin went to the dark side. So essentially what Rian did is he infused that, and the burden that Luke had on his shoulders, the last of the Jedi will you be, he had a lot riding on him. And what the Clone Wars did for the prequels is it retroactively made them better. Now, I like the prequels individually without the Clone Wars, but the Clone Wars adds layers upon layers to those movies. And with the Disney Plus shows, it's only going to get better. We're going to get Clone Wars flashbacks. We're going to get the potential of Ahsoka and Anakin live action together. There's so many great things now. What a time to be a Star Wars fan. Now, am I using this as a propaganda piece to say, hey, you must like the sequel trilogy? No, I'm not doing that. I'm simply offering you a perspective to say, hey, you can like this part of Luke and this part of Luke. It's still the same character. As I've said before, there's not my canon and your canon. There's one canon, okay? And where I think people are going wrong is and I'm going to do a video on this, is they're all saying that the sequel trilogy is going to be retconned. It's not going to be retconned. Even The Mandalorian, throughout the 2 seasons, is hinting, wink, wink, at sequel trilogy content, cloning, resurrection. Sometimes I feel like you guys need to pay a bit more attention to things. It's not going to retcon nothing. If anything, it's either going to work around it or add to it. It's not going to retcon anything. As I've said before, you may not like it creatively, but it is a success. Commercially, business, it's a success. Besides maybe Solo, that's another topic for another time. But the point of this video was to simply say, you can enjoy the majestic swinging of the lightsaber like Luke in The Mandalorian, and you can enjoy the graceful human journey of Luke in The Last Jedi. As I've said, that scene in The Mandalorian, I thank Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for putting it in, because it makes it so much better. I've rewatched The Last Jedi and I'm able to enjoy Luke's development, because they're trying to humanize him. And I feel like a lot of people want a lot of these characters to be one-dimensional, just power gods with no story. The reason Darth Vader is the best character in the franchise is because he's human. The reason Kylo Ren is the best character in the sequel trilogy is because he's human. There's a reason Ahsoka's one of the greatest Star Wars characters in the story, because she's humanized. Yes, she has cool fight scenes and great action, but I feel like we need to be able to allow ourselves to get lost in the story sometimes and really see what is being conveyed to us. How does it make us feel? So when Luke's standing there on Crate and he, brushes his shoulder, he is taking down the First Order with a laser sword. He is essentially doing that, but he's doing it the Jedi way, and he's doing it buying time for the Resistance to escape. Now, where I don't kind of agree is the Resistance being whittled down to 20 people. That's not enough to ponder over 2 years. That's not enough. But I really have grown to appreciate it a lot more. And the scene in The Mandalorian of Luke, the score, just the lightsaber swings, the parallels between him and Vader, the back and forth, the green blade, getting some real action, prequel style kind of fighting. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And guess what? I like both. And you're able to do that. I've seen a lot of people shaming other people for liking one or the other. I'm here to tell you, you can like both. It's not a crime. The fact that we have one character, right? This is the same character. But this scene adds layers upon layers to the version of Luke we see in The Last Jedi. So when Rey says to him, we need Luke Skywalker back, you remember that scene in The Mandalorian when he's cutting through the Dark Troopers saving the day. You're like, you know what? We need that Luke Skywalker back. We need the legend to come back. And he does. At the end of the film, the legend comes back and it's reborn in a completely different way. A completely different way. And then in The Rise of Skywalker, the full circle of it is he couldn't lift his X-Wing before and he's able to do it now. It's a nice full circle for that character. And we can just add more to this character, and I'm looking forward to his involvement in the Disney Plus shows going forward. I don't think he's going to be used a lot, but he'll be used here or there sporadically. But I'm here to tell you, yes, I like both of these, and you can too. You can enjoy both of these. Now, admittedly, I do have a video lined up for Last Jedi specifically on, where I'm at with it and where's my headspace with it and my very love-hate relationship with it. But as time's gone along, I've really grown to appreciate how they try to humanize Luke and give him so many different layers and really strip away the myth and look at the actual character himself. Because my favourite version of Luke is Return of the Jedi Luke. And seeing him in The Mandalorian brought me to tears because that is my Luke right there. The Luke that we get in The Last Jedi, it's breaking down that and sort of passing it to the next generation kind of thing. But guys and girls, I've rambled on long enough. Comment down below, let me know what you think, and which version do you like better, or do you like both, or do you like neither? I'm interested to get a dialogue going. Now, as with any Star Wars opinion, I want to get this out there. Try and keep it as civil as possible, okay? At the end of the day, we're all Star Wars fans, and this is a space where we have balanced opinions, and we can accept others' opinions. And at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. If one person doesn't like the Luke in The Last Jedi, then fine. That's cool. If the person loves the Luke in The Last Jedi, then that's great. That's okay too. That's part of what being a fan is. That's part of what being a fan is. So comment down below. Let me know. I love both versions. Well, I love the Mandalorian version of Luke better. But I do appreciate The Last Jedi Luke that much more. So comment down below. Let me know, guys. And yeah, be interesting to hear what you guys think. Also, big update coming soon regarding the channel. I had a nice little live stream last night that was a very good success. A lot of engagement on that, and I really appreciated that. So keep an eye out for a nice update video in the coming days. And may the Force be with you always. Oh man, seeing that green saber of his in action was just the best thing.